Now, without thinking of how much rotation I need or what my right elbow is doing or my lead wrist flexion and all that kind of stuff, I'm simply just going to have some practice swings where I feel like I'm swinging that club a little bit more out to the right and I'm able to start it to the right of that white stick. So this is a fairly simple way of achieving the same thing we did with all our internal focuses. Welcome to the channel, guys. My name's Ryan Mouque, and today we're going to focus on making a swing change. But this video isn't going to be one of those overly technical videos. We're going to make this swing change in the most simple way possible. I'm going to talk to you about internal versus external factors when trying to make a swing change. Which one's better? Let's get stuck in. So typically when you go to a lesson, you receive a bunch of information. And if you're a slicer of the golf ball, let's just use the slicer as an example. You get told that your setup's wrong. You need to improve your takeaway, your top position. Then on the way down, you need to keep your right elbow in. Then you need to rotate. And it's hard to think that golfers are then expected to jump on the golf course on their Saturday or their Sunday or Wednesday, whatever day they play, and they're expected to go out and have the freedom to swing without all that information in their head. So this is where we need to understand about internal versus external. Now, which one is best used for swing changes? While there is definitely a place for both of them, not a lot use external factors. So we all understand what internal factors are. Internal is you physically thinking of the right elbow, or you physically thinking of the amount of rotation or where your pressure is moving in your swing. That is internal, and that clogs up a lot of golfers' brain when they're trying to play the game. So what's an external thought? Well, an external thought might be something like if you need to get a little bit more pressure on the right side, for example. It could be as easy as thinking, hey, there's a bug under your right foot, let's try squish it. So all of a sudden, that's not a lot of technical thought. That's just you setting up and going, well, in my backswing, I've got to squish the bug under my right foot. So now all of a sudden, I squish the bug under my right foot. Now, how you did that, I don't know. But what you did is you did what was asked, the external factor, which was squish the bug under the right foot. If you're someone who blocks the golf ball or hooks the golf ball and you work too far underneath the golf ball this way and you flip the hands, what's an external thought for that? Well, what if I put a stick out in front of me and ask you to cut it? Ask you to start the ball left and cut it around that stick. Now all of a sudden your golf swing motion would look something more along the lines of someone who cuts the golf ball, as opposed to someone who hooks the golf ball. So we can change your movement by giving you a different cue. And this can be done obviously through internal elements, or it can be very technical, right? Right elbow, do this, do that. Or it can simply be as simple as, hey, I'm gonna put something out in front of you and I want you to start it to the right or to the left. Now what I'm gonna do for you here is I'm going to hit 2 golf shots with internal thoughts and 2 golf shots with external thoughts. The 2 golf shots are going to be a draw and a fade. So if I was a slicer, I would be thinking of a few elements in order to fix that slice. So a typical slicer of the golf ball might not have enough rotation in their body. They may have a club face that is too weak, so it might be pointing, the toe pointing up at the sky. They might not have a lot of depth, and they definitely come over the top and slice across that golf ball. So if I was someone who wanted to draw that golf ball all of a sudden, well, I would set up to my golf ball and I would be thinking, if I had just finished a lesson, for example, you might be thinking, well, I had to move my club inside a little bit more with the face pointing at the ground. Okay, so that's an internal thought, that's fine. Then I had to turn my upper body a lot more, get my lower body around the corner as well. And then I had to feel like I was coming down from the inside and keeping my right elbow tucked against me. And then I could turn into the golf ball. Now, that's a lot of thought to be happening while you're playing the game of golf. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit that golf ball with those thoughts. I'm going to, in my mind, those are the thoughts I'm trying to go through in my head. So again, I'm standing here. My playing partners are getting annoyed with me because I'm taking too long. Really thinking about all these movements, and don't get me wrong, I might be able to produce a good golf shot here. Let's see all those movements. Okay, not a bad strike. Didn't really draw, it just stayed straight. Not a bad shot, okay? And like I said, I can still perform at a pretty good level doing that kind of a swing change. Now, what if we went the opposite? Well, I just had my lesson and I'm hooking the golf ball too much. So what I've been told to do is, I come too far inside with a closed face, and then I don't really rotate, and I stand up and my club path's too in to out. Okay, so what I did in my lesson was I was told to keep the club outside my hands a bit more with the face more open, not to turn as much, just to get that club a little bit higher and definitely feel like I'm coming down over the top of the ball and exiting left. And that's how I'm going to slice the golf ball. So let's give that a go. So I'm gonna, get that club head outside. Again, my friends are getting a little annoyed at me for taking all this time. And then I'm gonna go and try and cut that golf ball. So that definitely sliced into the trees there. And I was able to do both of those shots. I was able to, nearly draw the golf ball. It wasn't quite a draw, but it definitely went a lot better than that one. And that one, I tried to slice it. That's what I was working towards. Those are all internal thoughts when trying to make swing changes. Now, I'm going to change this up. And instead of thinking too much about my golf swing and the positions and the club face positions, I'm going to use an external focus. And that external focus is just this white alignment stick out there. And I've just placed it in the ground, bang in line with where my golf ball needs to start if I was to hit a straight shot. And I'm going to ask myself to just start it right of this stick and see if I can bend it around to the left. Now, although that sounds simple, we must say to ourselves, well, the elements that we need in order for that to happen are similar, if not the same, as the internal thought process that I had. So I still need, in order for that golf ball to start to the right, I need a path to be moving more into out for sure. And I need the club face, if I'm to bend it from right to left, I need the club face to be closed in relationship to that path. Now, without thinking of how much rotation I need or what my right elbow is doing or my lead wrist flexion and all that kind of stuff, I'm simply just going to have some practice swings where I feel like I'm swinging that club a little bit more out to the right and I'm able to start it to the right of that white stick. So this is a fairly simple way of achieving the same thing we did with all our internal focuses. Don't get me wrong, they both work, but this might be just simpler for someone who doesn't take a lot of lessons or is struggling to learn the game in the traditional way. So we're going to use an external focus. So I'm going to start behind the golf ball, and what I might do is I might aim a little bit right of it, that's fine. I'm going to feel like I just swing my club around, because externally my mind's eye is thinking of that white stick and what I have to do in order to start that golf ball to the right and have it bend around to the left. What the body or brain wouldn't do is, I wouldn't be doing this typically, because that is me starting the ball left of the target and cutting it. So mentally I'm thinking, well, if I swing this club more around, look at what's happening. I'm getting more rotation, my club's moving slightly in, right? I'm trying to feel like or at least my club's moving from the inside a little bit more. All of that stuff's being taken care of solely because I have a stick there. Now, I'm going to start from behind the golf ball. I'm going to line it up to that stick. I'm going to aim just a fraction right of it. And now, externally, my mind is thinking, well, how do I start it to the right of that stick and get it to move? And there you can see a little bit low on the face, but overall the motion was a more rounded golf swing. It got the path moved out to the right, the ball started to the right, the face was closed relative to the path, ball curved to the left, and that was pretty easy. And that was, again, just me externally thinking about that stick and where I had to start that ball. Now again, we go to the opposite. What if we wanted to fade the golf ball? Well, we need to start the ball left of that stick, and I need to have it bend around to the right. So again, it's just the opposite of what we've done without thinking about all the technical stuff, okay? So again, I'm just going to maybe not turn as much, get the club a little more up in the air so I can kind of come across it a little bit more. And I'm just training myself to feel like I cut across the ball. I'm not thinking of where my hands are. I'm just letting that stick dictate where I want the ball to start and what I want the curvature to be. So again, I'm going to stand behind it. I'm going to aim a fraction left of this stick. Get my setup position. And again, I'm letting the stick make sure that I'm feeling the right things in my golf swing. So here we go, let's slice or fade the ball. Okay, yucky little heel shot, didn't strike it at all that good, but overall you saw the shape of the golf ball. Started left, faded, went quite low. That was a pretty terrible strike, but that's okay, we're only human. But overall you saw the two differences in not only golf swings, but in the ball flights. So if you're someone who really struggles after a golf lesson because you've got so much going on in your head, I want you to ask your coach, is there any other external ways, or is there any external ways that you can teach me to make the same swing change? Like I said, if someone's really struggling with the thought of having to do that movement, this movement, you know, 5 or 6 different movements in your swing, maybe just setting up an external factor just like that alignment stick, or it could be something else entirely depending on what you're working on. Maybe that could be a lot easier for you to take from the lesson tee onto the golf course. So if you're someone who slices a ball all the time, maybe set up that stick, try and work on getting that ball to hook. And if you are a hooker or a big overdrawer of the golf ball, maybe you need to work on getting that path a little bit more left. But those are some easy ways for you to change your golf swing without it being too technical. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please press the like and subscribe button. If you've got any comments around this, please let me know. Until next time, thanks for watching.